What's up everybody? This week's video is going to be a tutorial on Premiere Pro. I just started using Premiere Pro a few months back when I started editing video more for fun, and also when I had to start editing more video for my job. And as soon as I started using it, I realized what a complex program it really is and how difficult it is to learn. And I noticed when I would try to figure out how to do something, the only way to go about figuring it out might be to Google it, and then you'd have to watch some boring person just do a screen recording the entire time saying you click this and you drag it from here to here, and I don't know, those just weren't very helpful. They weren't very fun. So I thought I might start doing some tutorials about things that I've learned from using Premiere Pro and things that I think might help some beginners out there as they just start to use the program. So this week's video is going to focus on 3 tips that I have for people who are just starting to use Premiere Pro that were really helpful for me as I started to use it. So they're going to focus on how to figure out what the heck to do with the whole keyboard situation, how to make it full screen, and then how to edit your sound to make it at the levels that you want it to be in your video. So the first thing, talking about how to figure out the whole keyboard layout and figure out what you should use, because I know a lot of beginners are trying to figure out where they need to click to get the different cut tools, to get their selector tool back, to select a certain clip. It can be really confusing, and there's so many different tools to use in the program. One tip that I have is to go into your computer and Google Premiere Pro keyboard shortcuts, and then just go to images, and there's a whole list of different pictures you can use, but I know that there's one that's actually from Adobe's website that you can click on, and then just have that up while you're working, and it has all of the keyboard shortcuts helping you to know which thing to click on or which key to use the razor tool, how to get back to your selector, how to get to selecting a certain clip, how to fast forward, how to go back, all the different things like that. I think it's really helpful to just have that next to you as you're working through and learning it. After a while you won't need it anymore, obviously, but it's super helpful at first because there are just so many different shortcuts that you need to know when you're editing video. The second thing is kind of silly, and it kind of relates to the keyboard shortcuts, but it's something that I couldn't figure out how to do at first because there was no obvious way how to do it, but that's how to make your screen bigger, your preview screen bigger. And just hit the little tilde key in the upper left of your keyboard. Just hit that, make sure that you have the box selected that you're actually using. So if you want it to make your preview screen large, make sure you have that box selected, or if you want it to make the workspace large, make sure you have that one selected, and then just hit that key, and then to exit out of it, just as easy, hit it again, you're back out of it and back to the full screen. And then the third thing, this one was pretty interesting to try to figure out. There were a lot of different ways to go about it, and this is just the best way that I figured out how to do it, and that's to adjust the volume on your videos. I know there's a lot of times where you'll bring in a video or you'll bring in a sound bite for music or something like that that you want in the background, and at first it's not really intuitive about how you should go about changing the levels of it. So I'm just gonna walk you through that real quick. It's pretty basic, nothing too much to it. So once you get Premiere Pro pulled up, go ahead and get to where you want your song to be, and then you can go over here and, as I was making fun of people earlier, drag your music over to where you need it to be. And as you can see, there's no clear way about how to change the volume of the music, but a quick way to do that is just to drag down right here onto your second audio area and keep dragging a little bit further until you see this little bar right here, and then you can make sure that you have your audio selected, and then you can drop your first keyframe down at the beginning, and then on this part right here I'm gonna want it to fade in, so I'll drag that down and I'll play it ahead just a little bit till I want right about there, and that's where I'm gonna want the sound to be pretty full. And so you drop a second keyframe like I did right there, and you can drag that keyframe up. And so now what you're gonna have is a smooth entrance of the music, a smooth transition from no music at all to as loud as you're gonna want it. And so you do the same thing at the end. If you're gonna want it to fade out, you drop a keyframe, play ahead to where you want it to be the end, and then you can drop another keyframe and then just drop the keyframe back down to the infinity decibel level where there's no sound at all. And so what that should sound like is this. obviously the video quality wasn't that great there because I don't have it rendered yet, and obviously that's not exactly how I did the sound in my last video, but that's just an example about how you can use that audio function to help you fade in and out the music relatively easily. Hopefully those 3 tips were helpful for you guys as you get into Premiere Pro, using the keyboard shortcuts, how to make your preview screen bigger, and then how to vary the volume in your videos. I know those were things that I struggled with a little bit as I began using Premiere Pro a couple months ago, but I couldn't find a good tutorial on it, so I thought I'd create this for you guys. I'll have some more tutorials coming in the future about things that I've learned in my process. But that's it for this time, so feel free to like this video, subscribe if you want to. I'll see you in the next one.